This is Larry Henares making your day with the sixth part of an article we wrote on money for those who do not have enough of it. The chapter, The Law of Comparative Advantage. The law of comparative advantage is offered as a universal rule, applicable to all times, all places, and all conditions. And there lies its fallacy. In the first place, the law presumes that there exists in all countries full employment of labor and material resources, so that a country which starts a new industry would have to divert resources from other industries in which such resources are already fully and efficiently employed. But such is not the case in the Philippines, where we have a reserve of unemployed and underemployed who consume but do not produce, and will not otherwise be utilized unless channeled into new industries. At the same time, we have a wealth of raw material resources which have been largely untapped because we have no industries to make use of them. Secondly, the law presumes that every country is of the stage of technological development from which to compete with equal chance of success. Free trade between an industrial colossus and a backward nation is analogous to pitting an ignorant child against a well-educated adult. This simply is not fair. The child must be supported through school until he gets an education that will enable him to compete with fair chance of success. A Filipino industrialist recruits his labor among people who know little of machinery and have no experience with the rigid discipline of the factory. More often than not, his factory lacks good roads, water, power, telephone facilities. He often has to develop his own sources of materials and establish his own marketing facilities. All the external economies that are taken for granted and available cheaply in industrialized countries. He finds that capital and credit are difficult and expensive to find because of the lack of institutions that mobilize savings, if indeed enough savings can be mobilized in a country where people live from hand to mouth. More about this after these messages. This is Larry Henares making your day with the sixth part of an article we wrote on money for those who do not have enough. Chapter, The Law of Comparative Advantage. Continue to quote. Thirdly, the law presumes that there is free flow not only of goods, but also of all factors of production within the society of nations, so that maximum utilization of resources is indeed possible. But the United States and industrialized countries make their own rules for their own advantage. The Americans insist on free access to the markets of poor nations, but equally adamant in keeping competitive products out of their own market. Sugar, coconut oil, Philippine mahogany, textiles, motorcycles, automobiles, electrical components. Americans insist on free flow of capital of which it has a surplus, but not of labor of which poor nations have a surplus. The Americans own the ball club, they own the referees, the timekeepers, the scorekeepers, and they still insist on giving themselves plus 20 points. The IMF, World Bank, and the technocrats not only have a script for the play, free trade and open economy, but they also cast their star performers, the multinational corporations, billed as the indefatigable agents of free enterprise. The funny part is that the United States has always maintained a Janus-faced policy, a two-faced policy towards its big corporations. Within the U.S. borders, they're relentlessly prosecuted for monopoly and for combinations and conspiracies in restraint of trade. Abroad, however, the U.S. government foists these same corporations on underdeveloped nations as agents of free enterprise and engines of economic development. More tomorrow, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.